Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take a whole bunch of sources and really distill the key knowledge for you nice and fast.
Hmm.
Today, we're jumping into, well, a really fascinating story from ancient Buddhist texts. It's about Bahuputtikātherī.
Right, the bhikkhuni, the nun with many children.
Exactly. And our sources are these old Pali accounts. Our mission, basically, is to understand, what led her to leave her comfortable life.
Yeah, why renounce?
And then the sheer intensity of her spiritual practice afterwards, and importantly, this really powerful teaching she got directly from the Buddha.
It covers so much family stuff, personal change, the value of wisdom.
Totally. Think of this as your fast track to understanding some, well, pretty deep ideas about what gives life meaning.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in Savatthi, big city in ancient India,
Right.
and we've got this, well, pretty wealthy family, a mother and father, and get this, 14 children.
14, wow.
Yeah, 7 sons, 7 daughters. And they all grow up, they get married, they set up their own successful households. It sounds kind of idyllic, right?
On the surface, definitely. Abundance, big family.
You'd think everything's set for the parents' later years.
Yeah, you really would. But then, the father dies. And that's when things start to, let's say, shift.
Right. The mother who, later becomes Bahuputtikātherī, she doesn't immediately divide up the inheritance.
Okay. Which might seem odd, maybe? Or maybe not. What happens?
Well, her sons, pretty soon, they start questioning her. They basically say, look, Dad's gone. What's the point of you holding on to all this stuff? Can't we just, take care of you?
Sounds almost reasonable on one level.
Maybe. But there's an undercurrent there, isn't there? Like, her role is done, and it's all about the money now.
Yeah, it feels a bit like that. And she doesn't say anything at first.
No, she's silent initially. But they keep asking, keep pushing. And eventually, she gives in. She divides the entire inheritance equally among all 14 kids.
Okay, equally.
Yeah.
That seems fair.
And her thinking is pretty clear. Okay, I've given them everything. Surely they'll look after me now.
A totally normal expectation, you'd think, after raising 14 children. But I suspect it doesn't quite work out that way.
You suspect right. This is where it gets, well, quite difficult. The reaction, especially from the daughters-in-law, is immediate and, frankly, pretty shocking.
Oh, what happens?
The wife of the eldest son, she says something incredibly disrespectful, like, oh, look who's here, our mother-in-law, acting like she gave us double just because I'm married to the eldest.
Ouch. So resentment straight away, even though it was divided equally.
Exactly. It shows how perception of fairness can get twisted, doesn't it? It's all about what they felt they deserved, maybe.
Wow. And it wasn't just the one daughter-in-law?
No, the text says the other sons' wives were saying similar things. It's like the family bonds just, poof, weakened the moment the money changed hands.
That's quite bleak. So what does the mother do? Does she go to her own daughters?
She does. She starts with her eldest daughter, hoping for, some refuge, some comfort. Same story. Similar disrespect. It's just this complete wall of rejection from all sides.
Oh, that's awful after everything.
Yeah. And the text uses this term, avamanapata, which means she felt utterly humiliated.
Yeah.
You can just imagine the emotional blow.
Absolutely devastating to go from respected matriarch to being scorned by your own children.
It really highlights how shaky that kind of security based on wealth or even family ties can sometimes be.
So this humiliation, this is the turning point.
It's the absolute catalyst. She has this thought, like, what is the point of living near them? What's the use? I'm going to become a bhikkhuni, a nun, and live my own life.
Wow, that's a huge decision, a complete rejection of that whole worldly setup that just let her down.
Totally. It's choosing an inner path over external validation that clearly wasn't coming.
So she acts on it.
Right away. She goes to a bhikkhuni monastery, asks for ordination, Pabbajayachi, and they accept her.
And that's when she gets her new name.
Yes, Bahuputtikātherī, the bhikkhuni with many children.
There's a real irony there, isn't there? The thing that caused her so much grief becomes part of her new identity.
It really is. A constant reminder of her past, but now framed differently.
Okay, so she's ordained, but she's older now. Monastic life isn't easy.
Not at all. And she knows it. The texts emphasize her determination. She thinks, right, I've ordained late in life. I must be diligent. No slacking off.
And she wasn't just saying it, was she? She put it into practice.
Oh, intensely. I mean, she did all the regular monastic duties, the Vada, but her personal practice was something else.
Like what?
Well, the text says she'd practice the ascetic's way, the Sakadahama, all night long, To stay awake and focused, she'd literally hold onto a pillar in the lower part of a building.
Holding onto a pillar all night just to stay focused on practice. That's incredible dedication.
Isn't it? Shows how serious she was. And it wasn't just sitting still.
No.
Even when doing walking meditation, Kakamamana, she'd apparently hold onto a tree in the dark so she wouldn't trip or stumble, always keeping her mind on the goal.
Wow, real grit, especially for someone older.
And her focus was laser sharp. She thought, I will practice only the Dharma taught by the Buddha, constantly bringing his teachings to mind, reflecting on them.
That focus, it feels like it's leading somewhere important.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because then we get this incredible moment. The Buddha, meditating in his special chamber, the Gantakuya, sends out this ray of light.
Okay.
And it's as if he appears right there in front of Bahuputtikātherī. Like her intense practice made this connection possible.
A direct vision. Wow.
Yeah. And the Buddha addresses her directly, using her monastic name, Bahuputtika, acknowledging her effort.
And what does he say? This must be the key teaching.
It really is. He gives her this profound perspective shift. He says essentially, look, living for 100 years without understanding the Dharma, that's worth less than even one moment lived seeing it, understanding it.
Wow. So quality over quantity taken to the extreme. A single moment of insight is better than a century of ignorance.
Exactly. It completely flips the script on what makes a life valuable. It's not just about sticking around for ages, it's about understanding.
That's powerful.
And then he says this verse, this gatha, to really drive it home. Yoka fasatoijev apasav damamutama, ekaha jivitasayo pasato damavutamanti.
Okay, can you break that down a bit?
Sure. It basically means whoever lives 100 years not seeing the highest dharma.
What's the highest dharma?
The text explains Dhammamutama refers to the 9 supramundane dharmas, basically, the ultimate truths and states of liberation in Buddhism, like, Nibbana and the paths leading to it. Ultimate understanding.
Got it. So 100 years without seeing that
is worth less than a single day or even just a moment for someone who does see it, who penetrates that ultimate dharma.
So seeing the ultimate truth, even briefly, outweighs a long life lived without that clarity.
Precisely. It's about the depth of realization. And for Bahuputtikātherī, hearing this directly from the Buddha after all her effort.
He must have had a huge impact.
Huge. The text says, right at the end of the Buddha's teaching, she attained arahantship.
Arahantship, the highest level of enlightenment, freedom from suffering.
That's it. Full liberation. And it says she attained it along with the Paisambhidāhi, the analytical knowledges, which means like this really deep, thorough, analytical understanding of everything she just realized.
Wow. What an incredible end to her journey, from rejected mother to fully enlightened being.
It really shows, doesn't it? That profound transformation is possible for anyone at any age if the conditions are right, the disillusionment, the effort, the guidance.
Yeah. So wrapping up this deep dive, the takeaways are pretty stark, aren't they?
Definitely. You see the pain when worldly things like family support fall apart. You see the courage it takes to just walk away and choose a different path.
And the sheer power of dedicated practice, even starting late. But that core message from the Buddha.
Right. The incredible value placed on genuine understanding, genuine insight into the Dharma, however brief it might seem compared to a long life.
And for you listening, seeking knowledge efficiently, Bahuputtikātherī's story is, well, it's a powerful reminder, isn't it?
That seeking real wisdom, real insight might be the most valuable pursuit there is. It sort of reframes what success or a good life even means.
Yeah, it really does. So here's something to chew on. Think about what you prioritize. Is it the long life, the comfortable setup, what other people think?
Good question.
How does the story maybe challenge those priorities? What kind of dharma, what kind of truth or insight are you looking for? What understanding could make even just a single moment feel profoundly meaningful?
Definitely food for thought.